Let's speak briefly about the importance of monitors. Monitors are crucial to the way that you mix. Look at it this way. Imagine you built some big, bad 15-inch three-way speakers back in the 70s, and you just love how much low end they have, and you start mixing on those guys. Well, here's the deal. You'll naturally want to pull back your kick drum and your bass guitar, or the low end, because they're reproduced so well on those speakers, and it'll sound great in your room. But look at your mix. Your mix is all messed up because you're really relying on those monitors. Same thing if you were going to mix on something that's very bass light, like some little computer monitors or something like that. What are you going to do? You're going to want to crank up your low-end instruments to make it sound decent on those monitors. But then when everybody else plays it back on regular speakers, look at your mix. It's totally out of whack. So how do you do this? You need to get the most accurate monitors that you can afford. There's a lot of different monitors out there. A good place to kind of check out reviews, things like that, is ProAudioHelp.com. We have some ideas and some recommendations in terms of monitors. So get the best ones that you can afford. If you can get the self-powered ones, that works out well because the amps and the speakers have already been matched by the manufacturer. Just makes things a lot easier because then you just take an output out of your multi-track straight into your powered speakers and you're good to go. Now, another thing that I would talk about with monitoring is that as you're making your mix, here's the paradox here, is that we want to get some accurate monitors, but the people who are going to be listening to your stuff, they're going to be listening to everything from little earbuds to little computer speakers to big 5.1 home theater systems. You really don't know what it's going to be played back on. So here's how to kind of fix that so you don't have any heartache. I would mix down, make some sample mixes, go out to your car, pop it in your car, listen to it on your clock radio if you have a little iPod clock radio there. Listen to it on the most different playback situations as you can to kind of get an idea of how it will sound in all those different scenarios. You certainly won't be able to make it sound perfect on all of those, but if you can listen to a whole bunch of them, then you'll make better mixing decisions. So we've heard a lot in this section, and it is a very, very crucial one. It doesn't really matter how great your original recorded tracks are. Your music is ultimately going to be heard in its final mixed down form, and you really don't want to rush this part. Maybe take a day or two off to kind of empty your head of all of the recording process and come back with a clear head. Like I said, part of my mix down tradition is to clear the studio of all the loose cables and junk, kind of dim the lighting down and prepare a mood so that I'm relaxed and I can have fun with, say, a cup of tea or something like that. Certainly keep it non-alcoholic, or you'll go to bed thinking it was the best mix in the world, only to wake up and hearing it's not such a good one. Now, in terms of monitors, use the best ones, like I said, you can afford, preferably with a built-in amp. Position them slightly away from the wall in an equilateral triangle, like in this diagram. Now, remember to fix the problems first, soloing the tracks, cleaning up the signal with processors and gates if need be. Then bring up a rough mix, starting with your rhythm section first. Then use EQ to scoop out a shallow, wide curve to make room for your star, which is your lead vocal, and also boost certain overtones to make certain elements just pop out of the mix. Use reverb and delay to add some depth to your tracks, typically using an effects loop to give differing amounts to each track. You can echo certain phrases by ramping up the send on that track just momentarily. Automation is a great way, if you have it, to record all of these changes in your mix down. Or if you don't have automation, then a mix down sheet with notes on it will help guide you through that process. Now, by the way, a lot of research has been done, most notably with Fletcher Munson, on how sensitive our ears are to particular bandwidths. And the main point is this: if you mix at low volumes, you won't hear much low end, and you'll overcompensate by cranking up your bass. If you mix at too high volumes, then your ears will get tired. So around 80 to 90 dB is a good level to mix at. And if that disturbs your neighbors, and maybe if you live in an apartment, then I would recommend mixing down in the middle of the day when you won't get many complaints. Now, if you do the midnight thing at really low levels, just know that your mix is going to be really bottom heavy, as your ears are not sensitive to that low end at that volume.